Hi everybody, welcome back to Missy's Imaginings. Today I thought we'd go ahead and work on building the little hangers that I'm going to make to go in my Tonner doll case that I refurbished in the last video. So I've purchased hangers online of different types, and I've always thought, what's a good way just that I could make them with things that I have around. And so I came up with an idea, and of course it was while I was supposed to be going to sleep, and it kind of kept going through my brain, so I decided to go ahead and try it, and it turned out okay. So this is one that has a wood design on the paper. You can make the covering whatever you want, but the tools that you need are simple. I bought some 7/8 inch cup hooks, and this box has 40 pieces in it. I think it was $3.47 at Walmart. So that's going to give, 40 hangers if you use them all for hangers. And I got the gold color. There were some smaller packages, so if you just want to try a couple to make sure that you want to do it, there were some smaller packages for $1 something, I don't remember. But I thought, well, I'll get the bigger package. Then the cardboard that I like to use is what I save from packages I get that are actually the priority mail boxes from the U.S. Postal System. The reason I like this kind of cardboard is it's thin, and it is slightly corrugated, but it's very, very thin. So I wanted something that was fairly stiff, but thin, but not cardstock thin. And I didn't want the big, thick corrugated, because then you've got too much airspace. So this cardboard was just exactly what I wanted. Plus, this is easier to cut. You can use cardboard like from the back of a tablet, but sometimes that's really, really heavy and hard to cut. So you're going to want something that is thin enough that you can maneuver your cutting, because the cutting needs to be, detailed enough to make your hangers. So if you get it too thick or too bulky, then when you try to cut it, then it bends and warps and all that fun stuff. So the pattern is on the website, so we'll go ahead and get started. On this one, because I'm going to use the same design that's in the pattern, I actually only have the piece with the slit, but I'm just gonna draw over the top, so you don't actually have to have both pieces, but I put them in the pattern so you'd have them. So you'll need 2 pieces of this shape with the slit, then you need 2 pieces without the slit, so you just draw over the top and cut those out. Then of whatever covering you're going to use, you'll need 1 of these without the slit, and you'll also need the larger piece. So once the hanger is put together, what you're going to do is lay it on your covering and then snip down to the line and fold all those little tabs over to cover the curvature of your hanger. Then once those are all folded over, you'll take the piece of covering that looks like this and glue it over all those tabs to give the back piece. So that's how you build them. You can use contact paper, which is what I have to get this design. I wanted a color that would look okay with the Tonner case, but that I would actually be able to see, because I noticed the little clear hangers that were actual Tonner hangers, because they're clear, they're hard to see in the doll case. So I wanted to do this because they would be able to have enough contrast that I could actually see them in the case. You want to be careful on the hooks. Of course, you don't have to get this large of a hook if you want a smaller one, but you have to take into account that most of the doll rods have a 1/4 inch dowel, which would be about this big around. So you just want to make sure that your hook is going to be able to clear around that rod. Some of the real small ones that would be really good for like Barbie size hangers are really cute, but they don't actually clear this rod. The space between the tip and the hook tip and then the hook bend is too small, and they don't go on the rods very well. So you just kind of want to watch for that. It's just a simple idea. I'm going to cut the 4 layers of cardboard and simply glue them one on top of another. These 2 pieces will go in the center, and then the hook will be glued in that little crack between the two inner layers. I did use just a stick glue to glue the cardboard together, but when I go to glue the hook in, I like to use Gorilla Glue because I know that's going to hold, and Gorilla Glue is activated with water, so I just get a cotton ball or a little cotton wipe pad and get it wet, and I get the hook wet, so I put my glue in and I get my hook wet and lay it in, and then I put the covering on top, so that water will activate the glue and make sure that it stays in place. Also, before you put the covering on, the Gorilla Glue sometimes will bubble out from the top, so I just like to use a toothpick, and I put my Gorilla Glue on just a scrap surface and then use a Q-tip or a toothpick to lay it in place, and then once I put the hook in and all the layers, when that bubbles out, I just use the clean end of the toothpick and clean off that excess glue so that it's not on, bubbled out on my hanger, and then I go ahead and let it dry, and then it's ready to cover. So it's a very simple process, but it's cheap and easy, and you know me, I like to use things that are already laying around. The only thing I had to purchase to make these was the hooks, and those can be as inexpensive as a couple bucks. So I'll go ahead and we'll figure up the amount per hanger, just because it's all scrap material. The only cost is going to be my hooks, and so I'll divide that up and put it in the title so you'll know how much it costs. But it's just something fun for you to organize your dolly clothing and fashions, and it's easy and fast. I know there's a lot of really cool hangers that people use, a little scroll saw, but if you don't have access to that, if you don't have a saw, you might want to have a fun, easy way to use up your scraps to make hangers. You can cover this with fabric. Just be sure that you know how your glue is going to react to the porousness of your fabric, because a lot of times if you use a very wet glue, then it can seep through the fabric and make the fabric sticky. I don't do a lot of fabric gluing, so just a couple things that I have done, I didn't like the way it finished. You can purchase an adhesive that comes in an aerosol spray can, but to me that just seems like a lot of mess, and it's pretty expensive for what you get. It doesn't seem to go as far as I would want it to go for my money. So that's why I just used used contact paper, because I have so much of it from doing my doll cases and it doesn't take very much. Like I say, it only takes one this size and one this size for each hanger. So that's what we're going to do today. We'll put this together, and I'll kind of switch up the camera and you can see the process from beginning to end. Also, I went ahead and I had in my brain I wanted to design for the SD BJD's just a little black dress, and I wanted to try a pattern that was not quite tank top but had a sleeveless, but the shoulders come in a little bit farther, and a neckline that was a little bit higher, and then it has a slight princess line under the bust, and then it flares and it's not very long. So I did come up with that pattern. I'll also put that on the website. I haven't sewn it yet, I haven't put it together, but I thought I would go ahead and make it available if any of you would like to try it. I'm going to, of course, do it in black because I wanted a little black dress, but then on the skirt I'm actually going to put an overlay of chiffon on the skirt, not the bodice but the skirt part. So under the princess line covering the skirt, and then I will be lining the bodice so that the sleeves are all finished nice around the armholes and around the neck hole. So that will all be finished real nice, and I'll put that together, and we'll see how it turns out. But the pattern will be ready for you. We've just had a couple of really long weeks at work. I had a lot of projects going. Where we do a continuous improvement / safety fair that I was working on items for our booth, and then we had an audit come up which we prepare for and get ready and get our department ready. So it's just been some long days, a lot of concentrating for my brain. So when I would get home, I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm just gonna rest. So last time we went ahead and got the doll case ready. Today we're getting the hangers ready, but I did get a dress pattern ready. So at least I've been a little bit productive for you. So enjoy that, have fun. We'll go ahead and make some hangers today, and hopefully that will help you organize all your dolly treasures, so when they go to their wardrobe, they'll be able to find what they want to wear. So I'll see you at the work table.